Hello and welcome to the launch of a very special campaign, the Road to Safety, which we are doing in partnership with Diageo. This is a nationwide initiative to address one of the biggest concerns for society and also for the government, which is the appalling state of road safety in our country. We have an accident every single minute. Since I started speaking, there's been an accident. And once every 4 minutes, someone loses their life to a road accident. So by the time this program is over, something like 6 or 7 people could have died, which is a really shocking statistic. Now, through this campaign, we hope to make India's roads much safer by drawing attention to just some of the problems that there are: lack of awareness, public apathy towards victims, widening gap between legislation and enforcement, and also try and bring about a behavioral change. And a lot of that is also encouraging you, the viewer, to change some of your habits, to become a bit more responsible. For example, to take a pledge not to ever drink and drive. A little bit more on that a little later. But also, just to give you all one of the things that we're going to be trying to do as part of this on Christmas, New Year's, as we build our way up to that, we're going to be trying to figure out a way of getting free rides for people. So you don't actually drive back if you've had something to drink, you can just get a free ride. But more on that a little later. I just want to introduce everyone who we have with us on the panel with our partners in the initiative. Anil, Managing Director of United Spirits, is here with us. And Abanti Narayanan, one of the people responsible for putting the whole thing together, the Managing Director of Diageo. Thank you both so much for being with us. We will be hearing in just a short while from Nitin Gadkari, who's the Union Minister for Road Transport and Highway. We are coming to you from Bangalore, one of the cities that I have to say is one of the top 5 in terms of accidents, a city that is a perfect case study for a change that is waiting to happen. And that's why it's a great pleasure to have with us Mr. Ramalinga, Reddy, who's the Transport Minister of Karnataka and somebody who's putting in a lot of efforts to try and figure out what can be done. We also have with us Mr. Rohit Baluja, who's the President of the International Road Traffic Education. He's going to be joining us. And Praveen Sood is with us, Additional Director General of Police, Principal Secretary, Home Karnataka. And then somebody who needs absolutely no introduction, Anil Kumble, whom we are going to be getting to give his voice to this entire campaign and trying to get people to be influenced by this. And one other surprise guest whom we are going to introduce to you in just a short while. I just want to welcome Nitin Gadkari, who's, of course, he is, of course, in the middle of campaigning in Maharashtra. Mr. Gadkari, we're trying to draw attention to the condition of road safety and what possible steps the government could take to try and improve it.
It is very unfortunate for India that we have every year 5,50,000 accidents and 1,50,000 deaths. First of all, we already decided to find out the accidental spot on National Highway. Second thing, we are changing law. As far as new Motor Vehicle Act, from giving license to all type of rules and regulations, we are going to make of international standards. We are inviting the suggestion from the people of India. In the next Parliament session, I am confident that we will pass this act, and this act is going to change the total scenario of this all road sector, and that will prevent the accidents.
So obviously a lot of the responsibility also comes on us, the people of India. So I assume there's a lot the people of India can also do to try and ensure road safety.
It is the time for the country that our drivers should take reasonable responsibility, and I appeal to all the people of the country to cooperate us, and we will all get together, work together, and we will save the life of lakhs of people.
All right, Nitin Gadkari, thank you so much for joining us. The minister who is hopefully with this new the cabinet note and with the bill, the Road Transport and Safety Bill, we do hope that is going to be making a difference. But let me just turn to you, Anand and Avanti, both. What is it that people individually can do?
Well, people individually can obviously do a lot. Taking the basic precautions that are necessary so that you don't go and have an accident, more importantly, you don't put someone else's life at risk, is mission critical. One of the most important causes is drinking and driving. So as individuals, one of the things that every one of us can do is to never drink and drive. Apart from that, if you don't buckle up and don't put on your helmet, then you're asking for trouble. That's the most basic thing that every individual can do and should do.
Abanti, the question of, how much, this is one of the major reasons, especially in India, and especially in the evenings. Is there any studies? How much can a person, should somebody not even have a single drink and drive? And also what can we do? One of the things that we're doing in this campaign, for example, is we'll be providing cars to people who may have had a peg or two too much and saying, take that car. Tell friends to to not allow you to drive. Call up the parent and say, this person's had too much to drink. Those are some of the changes we can bring.
Absolutely. And Vikram, so the legal permissible drinking limit is 30 mg per blood alcohol content. But really our view and the Diageo USL view is drinking even a small amount can impair judgment. Your life is not yours alone and therefore never ever drink and drive. And today, Vikram, there are many other options, right? You can just hop into a public transport. You can take a cab. You can take a designated car service or just use a temp driver service. So those are some of the choices, responsible choices you can make. And within this campaign, that's the kind of on-ground activation and options that we will seek to provide to help people take that responsibility themselves.
Okay. Anil? You've ever done that? Had a peg or two too much and driven? Have any members of the cricket team done that?
No,
you guys lucky you have a bus some of the times.
Yeah, I hope the driver doesn't drink and drive. So no, but I'm someone who doesn't drink. So I'm the designated driver when I used to play county cricket for all the boys who used to enjoy a couple of drinks after a game. So I was the designated driver. But I think there's a lot that we need to do. And I'm really glad that Diageo has taken the initiative to start a campaign. It needs to be a sustained campaign.
Mr. Reddy, I just want to ask you this question that many Indians, when they go abroad, they follow all the rules. It must be giving you a lot of frustration when you see the way people drive in our own country. And is it also because our licensing procedures need to be made a little firmer? Because a lot of people are getting licenses who barely know how to drive.
No, not only licensing. First of all, we don't have discipline. Our Indian drivers, they don't have discipline. If they have discipline, definitely 90% of accidents will not be happening.
Look how tough it is to get a driving license abroad. Here it's not that tough. And as the minister was saying, maybe we should just start cancelling licenses or take tougher measures.
So everyone has to be more responsible. Everyone has to know his role, follow the rules. And we always talk about awareness, but I feel, I have worked with traffic for a very long time. I think more than awareness, it is the issue of attitude. I don't know an Indian who doesn't know that red means stop and green means go. But still, how we interpret it, that red means stop if the cop is standing there, and red means nothing if the cop is not standing there. Yeah. So that is what people have to start thinking.
That education is really important. And Dr. Rohit Baluja, let me get you in on this. One of the very first stories in my career that I ever worked on was a story on traffic. First people I ever interviewed in my career was a guy who had just broken a red light. So I went up to him. He says, do I drive the car or do I look at red lights? If I keep looking at lights, I'll hit the person in front of me. And I didn't know what to say to him. As I said, cub reporter with a mic, I didn't know how to respond to that thing. So how do you educate people? It's actually, you have to look at the car and the red light.
Actually, the discipline and attitude of a driver clearly depends upon the government's building its capacity. Today, on a 3-lane road, you have 8 lanes. And every law is broken very well because the engineering is wrong. There is a total lack of capacity of training our transport managers who are actually issuing licenses. Are they trained?
Right.
So it is the government, totally. I would hold responsible right from the top to create a discipline amongst the drivers.
You were wanting to respond to that.
Just now the Union Transport Minister also mentioned the new Motor Vehicle Act is coming. It's already in the website. And there is a lot of emphasis there on driving training, issuing of licensing, and of course the penalties. And as he also mentioned, we must accept that the penalties which we impose on the violators in our country today are hardly deterrent. Most of the traffic offenses today, the penalty is 100 rupees. And you know the value of 100 rupees today. We also should work on a lot of driving training thing.
Okay. Avanti, you want to take that up also?
Yeah, so I just wanted to say that one of the things that this campaign is also doing is actually creating an on-the-ground sort of program with IRTE as well as the Ministry of Road Transport endorsement to exactly address that point. What this program is also doing is actually training commercial drivers. Commercial drivers are a very vulnerable segment, you know, school bus drivers, auto rickshaw drivers, so doing that. And also gifting breath analyzers to the point of improving capacity.
Frankly, I really genuinely feel teenagers, young adults should, and it should be mandatory that if they want to go out and enjoy a night out, they should have a designated driver, a responsible person with them to drive them back.